Hey, good morning, everybody. It is 8:47. We are basically a minute out now, officially, according to TSNZ, I believe, according to Tristan of TSSZ or N. And the panel has just come to a close, and Ian Flynn and Mike Politro, the Archie Comics president, Mike Politro, didn't show up until nearly 10 minutes after the panel officially started. That's right. Actually, according to this, they didn't show up until about 13 minutes after. Anyway, getting on to the big news that everybody wants to know about. Well, let's just put it this way. At 11:13, Tristan of TSSN or Z, at 11:13 was waiting for the bomb to be dropped about Sally. And the bomb was dropped at 11:22, basically 9 minutes after the waiting by Tristan. After Tristan said that, 9 minutes later, roboticized Sally is revealed, to a thundering round of applause. And if you don't believe me, that's why I got it for him. Take a look. A thundering round of applause. At 11:22, Flynn says, "This is a roboticized Sally Acorn." I want you to think about it. Think about that for a second. A roboticized. He says, "This is a roboticized Sally Acorn." Okay. Now, they tried to get a picture of it, but apparently the camera messed up. At 11:22, there was a lot of "oh my god" odd murmurings in the crowd. So basically, a lot of people were shocked, surprised. Apparently, a lot of fans that weren't really wanting this to happen. He says at 11:23 that the setup for the whole thing with Sally started in service of the king. And also at 11:23, he says that everything to the next big point, in other words, the next big milestone apparently, or the next big arc, will be downward spiraling up until the next big point. So in other words, until the next big milestone or big story arc that goes to the milestone, everything will be downward spiraling. So take that with a grain of salt. And then at 11:24, this is what I know a lot of fans are not going to want to hear. 11:24, it is official. Sally Acorn will be roboticized going forward. So that's the So basically, that's the major news going on there that everybody wants to know about. Sally Acorn is indeed been roboticized. Sally Acorn's roboticization has been revealed, and at 11:24, it has been made official that she will be roboticized going forward, and that everything going forward to the next big milestone will be downward spiraling. So I want you to take a lot of that into consideration. Downward spiraling. What does that mean? Does that mean all the characters, all the good guy characters are going to be in a downward spiral? In other words, just trying to, try to learn to cope with the loss of the friend? And how official is the whole roboticized Sally going forward deal? Let me give you an example. You see, anytime someone says, "oh, this is the way we're going to be going forward," it doesn't mean it's going to be like that forever. We all know that. When the WWE decided to go PG, and started to become more family friendly, unlike what you see right now. I mean, it's still PG, but it's a little bit more edgier at times. But when they started going that PG route and becoming more family friendly to what was kind of like this millennium's version of the 80s, if you know what I mean. WWE said, basically stated, one of the spokespeople stated that, hey, this is the way WWE is going to be going forward, right? Okay. That's what they said. Now they're still like that, but they're changing. They're getting a little bit more edgier. So what does that tell you? That tells you nothing is forever. Just because somebody says something is like this going forward doesn't mean it's going to last forever. Let me give you another example. There have been a lot of football teams and baseball teams and basketball teams that have had their logos changed. You know, the logos and stuff changed to the point that the owners of the team or the spokespeople of those teams have said, this is the way we're going to go. This is the way the team colors, the team logo and stuff is going to look going forward. And what happens? What happens? Sooner or later, maybe a few years after or a year or so after, it goes back to the way it was. Remember when the Redskins tried out those new helmets a couple years ago that looked like the Florida Seminoles? Remember those? Those changed. Those went back to the traditional Redskin helmets. And people said, I think that was going to be the logo going forward. It didn't catch on. You know, and there's a lot of other examples out there. You know, comic books specifically, they have said, oh, this is the way the character is going to be going forward, or this is the way the storyline is going to be going forward. And yet, at times, it changes and goes back to the way it was. Now, I know some fans out there, Laser X5, Jonathan X3, or Digimon, and Tross, and anybody else out there, you know, Miko. You know, and I know there's going to be a lot of fans out there here on YouTube at various Sonic sites that are not going to be happy about this. Especially when the word, you know, breaks out onto the sites of what was said today. You know, not everybody's going to be happy. And you know, I don't blame them. I don't blame them for being upset, but you know, here's the thing. I don't think it's going to be I don't think it's going to last forever. You know, he may say it's going forward, and he may say things are going to be things are going to go downward spiral, if you will, up until the next megastone, or not megastone, but milestone, or next big point. But the truth is, folks, I don't think it's going to last that long. I mean, here's one thing. Paul Kaminsky came out and said her story was just beginning. You know, despite either way they were going to go. How can a story just be beginning if she's going to be like that going forward? Now, I can understand maybe her regaining her free will, but, you know, not being able to change back to the way she was and have to be stuck like that. I can understand that. And I can understand maybe what somebody else pointed out at one of the sites, that maybe Nicole will have to give her a holographic body make her a holographic body of her old body just so she can walk around in public without being scorned. I can understand that. But the truth is, I don't think it's going to last a long time. I think, honestly, if it's going forward, he says the downward spiral to the next big point, and then saying she's going to be like this going forward, to me, I add those two up, and I think she's going to remain like this until the next big issue, until the next big milestone. Which tells me I'm going to have to wait 20 months, 20 issues before I do my next big review, audio-video review on a current issue. Which I'm hoping for, because that'll give me enough material to take notes on and do stuff on. It's going to be like huge. You know, and again, this is why I'm not going to do any reviews on current issues, because I don't know how to put a positive spin on what's going on. You know? And I'm not saying that because I'm upset at the fact of what's happened to her. I've grown out of that. I look at it in more of a, I look at it as a more productive kind of thing. I look at it more in a productive kind of way. I look at it more in a positive kind of way. And what I see, positive-wise, is I see this not going to let. I see it going forward. I see her character going forward in this direction. I see the downward spiraling happening, going in that same direction. But when you add two and two together, when you add those together, you know it's all going to culminate in 250. That's what it's hitting to. That's apparently what he's aiming for. But if 230 is this month, then you got to look at it. Next month, 12 months from now, will be what? 242. Am I right? Because think about it. 230 October. Okay, here's the thing. 230 is October. 231 November. 232 December. 233 January. 234 February. 235 March. 236 April. 237 June. 238 July. 239 August. 240 September. 241 October. 242 November 2012. 243 December 2012, right? 244 January 2013. 245 February 2013. 246 March 2013. April 2013 will be 247. 248 will be in May. You're looking at basically July 2013 when this all comes to an end. So you're probably thinking to yourself, sitting here watching this video, thinking to yourself, oh my God, if we're going to keep up with the comics, we have to wait that long until this whole thing comes to an end? Yes, you do. You do have to wait that long. But here's what I've always said. Either you're going to unsubscribe to the comic until that point, or continue subscribing and reading the comic to that point, like, you know, I'm not going to read it, I'm going to subscribe to it and collect it. But again, you're going to go to that point. Here's what you do in between, folks. Here's what you do. You take this. You take this, or you take past issues, or the archives, or the selects, or whatever you have that garners towards the earlier issues of Sonic before this all takes place. You watch this, you read those earlier issues and through the archives or whatever, to pass the time, to bide your time, because then, before you know it, 250 will be here, and we'll probably get the resolution. What I'm saying, folks, is I look at it in a positive way. And the way I look at it, her status going forward after 230, I don't think it's going to be a permanent situation. He didn't say it was permanent. He just said it's official. Sally will be roboticized going forward. He didn't say Sally was going to be. He didn't say it's official. Sally's going to be permanently roboticized going forward, or Sally's going to be, roboticized permanently. He just said she's going to be roboticized going forward. He didn't say it was permanent, but he didn't say it was temporary either. So that's the catch. But when you put Downward Spiral and you put that situation, add them together, and it's going to try to get towards the next big milestone, or the next big story arc that goes into that milestone, then you know something's up. Yeah, he's not going to reveal all his cards. He's not going to reveal all his aces right then and there. But that's all we know right now. And that's all I'm going to say. Comment down below, and I'm going to get ready for church. Peace out.